I know a lot of you guys have had this question or have been confused on how to draw realistic hair, and today I'm actually going to show you guys how I draw realistic hair and hair strands. So what I'm drawing on is a drawing pad. I don't really use this anymore, I just find it lying around. So what I usually do for drawing, and I'm going to use a number 2 pencil, by the way, because I know a lot of you guys don't use charcoal pencils like I do. So I'm going to use my favorite, which is a number 2 pencil. Start at the very top. So what I'm doing is small strokes, and I'm building the tones up. So the top part of this hair strand is going to be really dark. I'm even going to press even a little bit harder by placing down my pencil in a back and forth motion. So what I'm doing now is just pulling my pencil back really fast to make these long strokes. You got to think about it this way: when you're drawing hair, it's really unorganized. So don't be concerned on making these very straight, because when you're drawing hair, hair doesn't flow in a straight pattern. They curve outwards, they curve inwards, they curve in circles. You do random things. So you're gonna imitate the same thing that you would see in hair. You're gonna see some hairs going outwards. Sometimes your hair is not perfect and it's not in order. And there's some light tones and dark tones in hair. So we're gonna build up on that and make one long line that's really dark. And let's just say it goes outwards to the right. And let's make another one too. And let's just say there's one over here too. So right here in this side, in this section, it's gonna be really light, and on here it's really dark. And that's just building tones. So you're just gonna be lightly sketching these long hair strands. In each stroke, you gotta see it as a single hair strand. And all this hair is going to the right. And it just falls outwards like that. It curves outwards like this. Some of them curve downwards, some of them curve a little bit upwards, some of them don't make it to the very end and they just curve in the middle upwards. As long as you gotta have that consistency of showing the direction. Some hair strands can go out in different directions. Now let's make this a little bit thicker. And I'm pressing harder on my pencil at the very top and making these longer strokes. Some of them curve downwards, some of them loop. And let's just say this is the end of somebody's head. Like, let's just imagine somebody's head is right here, okay? That's their eyes, their face. And this is where their head is. Okay, so I drew this wrong. Okay, so let's just say this is the face, and this is part of the head. Chin area. So this right here is the cutoff. So we're gonna define it a little bit more by making harder strokes. And since this is the cutoff, we're gonna make some hair strands that go outwards, kind of like they go upwards, they go a little bit crazy. Let's just continue making these hair strands over here. Longer hair strands, because this girl has long hair. And let's just meet in this one section right there, where all the hair is gonna meet here. Now let's say she has longer flowing hair, so we're gonna curve downwards. You can do this no matter what. Even though I did stop here, you can continue off from these lines, the darker lines, because you gotta think about this. In any way hair flows, you just gotta make sure that everything flows in that direction. There can be flowing hair that goes to the right. Let's just say she has somewhat of a wavy hair, or it's just hair that's in the wind. So we're gonna go off from these lines that I made before. And let's just say it curves inwards like this. It makes a hook. Again, hair is kind of crazy. It doesn't go all the way. Some of the hair ends over here before it reaches the end point that we made. Making soft strokes. Some goes outwards to the right. And I'm doing this all with just a number 2 pencil. I'm gonna make even harder strokes over here. Sometimes you see really dark hair strands. So I'm gonna make really dark hair strands. I'm gonna continue off from this side. Okay, let's just say we want some highlights because this is too dark. That's simple. You can just erase certain areas that you want to lighten it up. And right here, what I'm going to do is make more highlights. So let's just make a highlight right here and over here and there. I'm just making random highlights. And then going back over it with the pencil. And then just doing that repetitively. Let's just make another hair strand section over here. Let's say it splits right here. Nope, that's not a problem because we're just doing the same thing we've been doing. It's just repetitive hair strands. Some of them are darker, some of them are lighter. Shaded in again, long strokes with your pencil. Some of them curve outwards. Some of them are like hooks. You're shading it in. You grab your eraser. Make them highlights. And I'm going to make some highlights even up here. Because sometimes there is a lot of highlights in the hair on the very top, even though it's really dark. And I'm going to go back up here, define it even more by making them darker, just like I did earlier. And it kind of blends in, kind of like I'm shading into the lighter area. And of course, if you have different types of pencils, which I don't in this case, it's just a number 2 pencil, you can make even more tones to make this even more realistic. And I'm going to go down here because this looks very realistic right here. But I'm going to go over here and kind of build this dark tone up from down here. And curve outwards. Thin hair strands. You see how it works? Random hair strands. And when you have a good build of tones, you can get your eraser and make the highlights. So this would be in this case, this would be like more hair strands, but in the form of light touching the hair strands. So it gives it another layer of realism. Just random hair strokes with the eraser. And that just adds more to the realistic aspect of hair. And let's just build some tones here, darker tones. Let's make them curve to the right, to the left. Build some tones up again here. And that's basically it. You can continue to do the same steps that I just showed you, which is repetition, making some dark tones, light tones, using the eraser to your advantage, drawing hair strands as if it was flowing hair. This doesn't have flow. There's no hair strands that you see randomly going outwards, just like you would in a woman's hair in real life. Hair doesn't all bunch up and clump up together very straight and nice and even. And like I said, you can keep on building tones, and I can keep doing this for a long time and make it as realistic as I can. But you're just gonna see me doing the same steps that I just been showing you over and over again. Same thing. So I'm going to come back and I see that my darker tones weren't built up as much as I would like them to be, and I do only have a number 2 pencil, but I'm going to press as hard as I can. And well, there you have it. Same repetitive motion to drawing hair. There really isn't much to it. Just don't overanalyze things and make things more complicated than they should be.